What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Rockets Daily, brought to you by FanArch. My name is David Delano, and no matter where you are, thanks for tuning in. We're going to be talking about some stuff here going to pertain to the local Houston fans, along with all of you guys watching us, no matter where you are, Turkey, Germany, Nigeria. Chime in. Definitely appreciate it, as there's going to be a lot more to go. Really excited for this season, as a lot of you guys, we even got 72 wins in the comments for this Rockets team. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Definitely appreciate that. Help us grow. Go ahead and leave a comment. Not to the point of it yet where we're getting 1 million views, but at this point, I love the fact that whether we get 3 comments or 50 comments, I can still read all of them. And I've been reading each and every comment. And I appreciate each and every one. And for all of you guys riding, whether you're on the road, whether you're at work, whether you're at the gym, whether you're whatever you're doing, thanks so much for watching Rockets Daily. And first thing we're going to go ahead and talk about here, as I posed in the questions yesterday, and we've been talking about it, is over-under win totals, which the great thing about it, we could give our opinions all day. We could discuss them all day, but at the end of the day, we're going to find out at the end of the season. And that's why states with legal sports books, they've got lines. Rockets at over under win total 55.5. So if you bet on the over, if you are a betting person, or even if you're just predicting, if your prediction's correct, all in fun. 56 wins. The Rockets would need to win 56 games to get to the over. They can win 55 games, 55, 54, 53 or less. That would be under the total. And get some mixed messages as far as some over, some under. Now, yesterday's video, we had an over, we had a 60-plus win, and we even had a 72 win. I'm all for it. If it ends with a championship. Talked about the first 16 games and the first 21 games yesterday, and we'll see if we'll go deeper into the schedule. Doing it now, I guess it'd be fun, and we'll have a lot of time to talk about it, so we will get deeper into the schedule throughout the week and even probably next week. But right now I'm looking at the schedule. Just to me, I see the Rockets being 11-5 after those first 16 games, and I see the Rockets being 14-7 after those first 21 games, and that's at a pace that's putting it, pretty much right at that number. For the regular season, I was thinking 54, 53, 54 wins for the regular season. That I'm thinking. But with a lot of the consensus or agreement or belief that the Rockets will win 60 games or more, a couple things I do want to talk about with that. First of all, if the Rockets are going to win 60 games or more, do you have them as the best? Well, let's talk about best team in the NBA, but let's talk about regular season first, right? Because I'll take 49 wins in a championship over 62 wins and a playoff exit. But do you consider the Rockets right now the best team in the NBA? So if we're looking at the over under win totals throughout the league, right now there's only one team in the NBA whose win total exceeds 60 wins, and that's Oklahoma City Thunder at 62.5. So if the Rockets do win 60 games, more than 60 games, I think it's safe to say that they're going to be the number 1 seed in the West, because I don't think that there's going to be 2 60-win teams in the West. And even if you win 60 games, experienced that with the 2017-2018 season where the Rockets won 65 games. I lost in the Western Conference Finals, and you saw last year, the Cleveland Cavaliers won well over 60 games and then ran into several injuries in the postseason, ran into an Indiana team that was a bad matchup for them and got beat. So ultimately, I guess what I'm trying to think about here and get at when I look at the season win total, right? a couple different things. One, I'm wondering how many games, and I guess we could talk about how many games do you see Kevin Durant playing? How many games do you see Fred Van Fleet playing? Because right now, I'm thinking that Kevin Durant, this is my own, and I gotta see if it's posted, but if I had to set my own over under games played for Kevin Durant, I would set it personally at 63 and a half, meaning over if he gets, let's just go off of my line here. Kevin Durant, is he gonna play at least 64 games, or is he gonna play 63 games or less? I think that is going to be a number to look at. And then I also got to wonder, do you want Kevin Durant to play more than 64 games? I believe that there's 14 back-to-back games. Now, a lot of them don't involve travel, but I believe that there's 14 back-to-back games. I have to go ahead and double-check that. But out of those 14 back-to-backs, wonder how many of those games is Kevin Durant going to play? Because a lot right now is going to be riding on Kevin Durant. And I know you can say it doesn't matter for his legacy. I'm really interested to see how this plays out chemistry-wise. I know a lot of guys, before we talked about this early on, before the Rockets got Kevin Durant, there was a lot of thoughts about, Durant being old, keep the team intact. Did we need him? Did we not need him? I think that right now we've got an overwhelming supportive consensus, including myself, with the acquisition of Kevin Durant, because you look at the team and you didn't gut the team. You didn't give up a bunch of first round draft picks. You didn't give up Jabari Smith. You didn't give up Tari Eason. You basically, we gave up Dylan Brooks, but you replaced him with Dorian Finney-Smith. And it looks like pretty much a clean swap, other than that number 10 draft pick, which didn't really need, and a couple second round draft picks. You basically is a clean swap for Jalen Green. Now, obviously, especially in the short term, and all due respect to Jalen, obviously, Jalen even said it himself. Kevin Durant's definitely an upgrade over Jalen Green, but you do wonder. It's going to be interesting as far as when KD sits out. There's going to be a few of those games. Or when KD, how many minutes is he going to play? I'm thinking 33, 34 minutes. The time when Kevin Durant's not on the court, it's going to be interesting as far as the Rockets really struggled last season getting those isolation buckets, creating on the perimeter. Kevin Durant, I believe, was number 1 in the NBA in those situations. I got to double check. But definitely, when it came to those mid-range buckets, those ISO buckets, checks a lot of boxes. What's going to happen in those situations when Durant's not out there? Because not going to play 48 minutes, 43 minutes a game, old Wilt Chamberlain, Allen Iverson style. Jalen Green handled the ball on the perimeter a lot last season. Saw some good, saw some not so good. But it's going to be interesting, Fred Van Fleet this season. See if he can not regress. And also, Amin Thompson, he could take that leap. It's going to be exciting, and we always talk about, Reed Shepherd as well. But it's really, those guys on the perimeter handling the ball. It's going to be fun to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in those situations. So continue to let me know. You can go over under. You can tell me how many games you think that the Rockets are going to win in the regular season. How many games you think Kevin Durant's going to play, and how many games realistically do you want him to play? We'll see. As far as if the Rockets have the best team in the NBA, with that win total, though, I think it's either going to be a situation where you're right there with Oklahoma City and you're pushing for that number 1 spot, and then it'll depend how far Denver and the rest of the teams are, because Oklahoma City's at 62.5 over/under win total set. Rockets win total, according to the sports books, is 55.5. Denver's is 53.5, and all the other teams in the West are going to be under 50 set. So Right now, still, Rockets predicted to have the second best record in the Western Conference. And one thing I want to talk about here, and this is going to apply a lot to people who live here, but just a personal venting, and really a problem that I have with the NBA in general right now, as far as the way that they've been marketing it and the way that fans can receive it. So this gripe of mine, and I've been thinking about this for a while, and stay with me here. Yesterday, Astros Tigers played a really exciting game. Tigers beat the Astros in 10 innings. And that game was on TBS naturally. Now, I live here in Houston, so that game was not available on TBS. It was blacked out. I have MLB TV. Through MLB TV, I can watch any team, any game in baseball, unless it involves the Texas Rangers and unless it involves the Houston Rockets. NBA League Pass in this area, you can watch any team live except for the Rockets and except for the Mavericks. And obviously, that's a problem. So I want to watch the Rockets games when I'm not there and want to be able to record them, watch them again. I know with League Pass, you can watch them on delay after the fact, but it's not the same. And I want to know here just a few different issues with that as cables change. So I'm going to get into it a little bit. Had Comcast, had Xfinity for a long time. Could watch all the games. Made some changes. Had went over to AT&T, the DirecTV. They made the change. Went from the Southwest network to now the Space City network. And then, NFL season's coming up, and there's so many different streaming services and things. And last season at the NFL Ticket, which was through YouTube TV, so you could watch all the NFL games through that system and platform that I could watch the Houston games through, as far as when it comes to baseball and the NBA, weren't compatible with getting the NFL League Pass. So now you're looking at NFL League Pass, but it's like, okay, YouTube TV basically in Houston, you can't watch you don't have the Space City network, can't watch the Rockets games. Because I've had a few different platforms and things like that. I know that there's some apps out there that I'm aware of. Don't go sell anybody out in the comments, but there are some apps that I'm aware of. The Tigers and Astros game yesterday, I could pull it up on my phone, but you can cast it onto the television. Sometimes it's not going as fast as I'd like it to go, even with the fastest level of internet service available to me. So what I'm trying to get at for you guys, thanks so much for staying with the rant. For those of you who are in Houston, because really, for those of you guys, out there, Brett and DC area and different places, you guys are in a great situation as far as being able to watch the Rockets locally, or watch the Rockets locally where you are, as opposed to us in the Houston area or in Houston, who you're kind of limited to what you need to get. So I got to figure out, if I'm going to switch providers, what I'm going to do. Is there an app that you recommend? There's something I'm looking at there. I'm trying to do everything, the right way here. But I'm going to have to do something as far as really to be able to watch these games the way that I want to. The way that I want to be able to consume them very, very easily and seamless, if I should say so. And you guys could chime in, even if you're a fan of another NBA team watching this video, because this is an issue in a lot of places. I mean, people in Detroit who struggle watching the Pistons. People in if you care about watching the Hornets, but people in Charlotte who struggle with watching the Hornets, and people in Cleveland who can't watch the Cavaliers, people in Los Angeles who you've been telling me as far as like they can't watch the Dodgers games, they can't watch the Angels games, and something that's gonna carries over to basketball. It's just wild the way the NBA is, that the city, they make it so hard for people in the city to watch the team in the city that they're in, the team that they want to watch. Like I said, that's even extended to Dallas. I mean, as far as being able to catch Cooper Flag and just being able to see I want to be able to see every game that I want to see. And seeing that the Tigers and Astros, and I'll start with baseball, was blocked out on TBS. I know there's, I think, 34. Is it 34 or 24? I've got to double check for the Rockets. I think the fifth most national TV games this season. I think it might be 24. The most might be 34. But point being, are those games going to be blacked out? Are those games going to be blacked out? So let me know in the comments if you if you want to talk about it. I know Fubo is an option. Like I said, got the YouTube TV thing. I don't want to pay the $80 a month just solely for the Rockets games, but we'll see if I got to take. I gotta do what I gotta do, but just let me know what cable provider you have if you watch the Rockets. If there's a streaming service that you have, we don't want to get anybody shut down. Just say I've got a service or something like that. You can leave that in the comments if you even want to chime in with that. If you got any frustration, anything, any suggestions for your boy that's not gonna give out, they don't want to incriminate anybody. But I'm just a personal frustration. I'm just a little frustrated that it's a whole thing just around making switches all for the sake of being able to see Rockets games, and even or being able to see all the NBA games. So can't get League Pass. I mean, can get League Pass, but that's going to be good for everything except for basically Rockets games, and apparently even Mavs games. So whatever. Rockets playing the Pistons, if you're not there, or playing the Pistons on the road, won't be able to see it unless you've got the certain particular services. And then with these contracts, things keep changing. Even when sometimes you get a service and it's gone. So that's my little rant, because got to be able to watch the Rockets this season. Gonna be over there, set myself up for some comments like, David, you didn't watch the game, did you? What are you talking about? But yeah, thanks so much for that. And let's go ahead and talk about some good things. The 1993-1994 championship season for the Houston Rockets. So first of all, gonna look at some stats and things. A lot of this, is a time I can, talk about from memory. What I remember the most, well, not the most, but one thing I do remember about this NBA Finals, it's so crazy and makes feel so old thinking about the fact that the against the New York Knicks, I forget which game it was, but I remember watching that game, one of those games, got interrupted of O.J. Simpson high speed chase. It's just amazing to think in 2025 that happened during the 1994 NBA Finals. But Rockets this season won 58 games, won 58-24. Seattle Supersonics, they were over 60 wins. They won 63-19. Didn't work out so well for them. We don't want to be those 63-win Supersonics. Rather be the 58-win Rockets. Rockets won 58-24. 5 games behind the Supersonics during the regular season. Then went ahead and got into the postseason. So first round, Rockets as the 2 seed beat the Portland Trailblazers 3-1. Rockets won the first 2 games. The Trailblazers did avoid being swept with a 118-115 Game 3 win. And then the Rockets went ahead and closed it out in Game 4, winning 92-89. Yet Elijah Wan led the team in scoring in every game of the series. Otis Thorpe led the team in rebounding in 3 out of the 4 games. Yet Elijah Wan going for 26 in Game 1, 46 in Game 2, 36 in Game 3, and then 28 points with 16 rebounds in Game 4. Then went into the second round of the playoffs, Western Conference semifinals, which battle between the Phoenix Suns, a rivalry brewing that's going to even go into this next. It's going to go into the following season, the 94-95 season. But Phoenix Suns took a 2-0 lead over the Rockets, winning the first two games actually in Houston. So Rockets 58 wins, number 2 seed, and we're down 2-0 going to Phoenix. Things were not looking great at that time, but the Rockets won the next two games by double digit. Won game 3, 118-102. Won game 4, 107-96, winning both of those games in Phoenix. Went back to Houston where the Rockets won 109-86. Suns didn't let it be closed, did not get closed out on their home court. They won game 6, 103-89, and then the Rockets won game 7, 104-94. Elijah Wan with 37 points and 17 rebounds in that game 7. So then it was on for the Rockets to the Western Conference Finals, or take on the number 2 seed Utah Jazz. And Rockets would win that series in 5 games, 4-1, wrapping up the final game in Houston, 94-83. Rockets were up 2-0 in that series. Only game that the Jazz won in that series was game 3 in Utah. So then also from there went on to the NBA Finals to take on the New York Knicks. Rockets took game 1. Knicks took game 2. Rockets would win game 3. Knicks took game 4. And the Knicks would also take game 5. So the Knicks were up 3-2. Rockets won 86-84 in game 6 and then won game 7, 90-84. A lot of low scoring games. And remember John Starks' shooting struggles late in that series. A couple things about this season. Elijah Wan won the NBA MVP award, and a little bit of revolutionary as far as 3-point shooting, getting shooters around Elijah Wan. We talked about going back to, if you've been following this history series we've been doing, we talked about the 3-point shooting in 1981 to where the most 3-point shooting team in the NBA shot 5 attempts per game. Second shot 3 attempts per game. It started to go up, but this Rockets team, 93-94 World Championship team, led the NBA in 3-point shooting attempts and 3-point shots made. 15.7 attempts per game. The Orlando Magic were second at 13.9. So the Rockets, 15.7 threes per game, was by far more threes than anybody else took. Magic 13.9. Rockets made 5.2 threes per game. And then when it came to 3-point percentage, Rockets were 15th, middle of the road. But like I said, shot more than anybody else and made more than anybody else. As far as the stats, individual stats go, Elijah Wan MVP season for him, 27.3 points per game, 11.9 rebounds, 3.7 blocks. Won the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. Otis Thorpe, second on the team, 14 points per game and 10.6 rebounds. Vernon Maxwell, third on the team, 13.6 points per game. You had Kenny Smith with 11.6 points per game on the season. Robert Horry with 9.9 points per game. That's all regular season stats there. In the playoffs, Elijah Wan, Finals MVP, 28.9 points per game in the playoffs, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks per playoff game. Mad Max with 13.8 points per game in the playoffs. Otis Thorpe, 11.3 points and 9.9 rebounds. And Robert Horry, Big Shot Bob, 11.7 points and 6.1 rebounds. Kenny the Jet Smith, 10.8 points per game. And also Sam Cassell as a rookie, 9.4 points per game. And up there, tied for second on the team with 4.2 assists. Elijah Wan led the team in assists in the playoffs as well with a 4.3. Mentioned all those shooters around him. And in the playoffs, Rockets did shoot a little bit better and even a little bit more threes. Shot 17.8 3-point attempts per game. That's more than two more per game than in the regular season, and jumped up from making 5.2 per game during the regular season to 6.5, and shot 36.3%. So the 3-point shooting was big for the Rockets, obviously on the way to the first championship in franchise history. Vernon Maxwell leading the way attempt-wise, attempted 6 threes a game and made an average two made threes per game in the playoffs. Robert Horry shot 38.2% from three. Kenny Smith, though, led the way percentage-wise, 44.7%. And that's why part of the reason he is a legend in H-Town. Going back and looking at this, no shade, man, Kenny Smith, I mean, he's aged well, right? Looks as good now as then, but it's crazy looking back at those footages. And Kenny Smith was 28 years old back then. I mean, it's a lot of these guys. Some of them look like they were 45 forever, and still maybe look 45. But I was just thinking, like, Kenny Smith just looked old for a long time. But hey, sure, you can still get it done on the court. It's all love, Kenny. So Rockets 93-94, first NBA championship season. Thanks so much. Let me know your favorite memories for that season if you were around to see it. You can chime in as far as if you got any frustrations or legal suggestions on how you're going to watch the Rockets, or put anything in code. Are the Rockets the best team in the NBA right now? We'll talk about it. Feel free to leave any comments. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead, subscribe. And looking forward to seeing all of you guys, or you guys at least listening to me tomorrow. If you made it to this, thank you so much for giving us some time. God bless. Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch.